Hello, hello! Hi everyone! Magandang araw po sa inyong lahat. Magandang gabi sa kung saan man panig kayo ng mundo nanonood ngayon. My name is Kate and welcome back to QCafe. You guys are so excited kasi isa na namang episode natin for today. Ang matututunan naman natin ang kung paano ba makipag-plan with our teams. So there are a lot of things talaga na we need to learn, strategies, structure na kailangan talaga natin para mas maging smooth ang lahat pagdating sa workplace o kaya kahit sa bahay. Ayan. So sino nga ba ang guest natin sa QCafe for this evening? Our guest is the Executive Director of Kalipay Negrons Foundation, a non-profit foundation based in Negros Occidental, working for the causes of disadvantaged children. He is a respected and dedicated career development professional with almost 20 years of experience when it comes to extensive interdisciplinary experience in the field of NGO management, organizational development, fundraising, and resource management, education, human resources, marketing, program evaluation, and research. He has taught in the academe as a college professor in University of St. LaSalle for 5 years. As a young leader, he founded and became the eventual president of JCI Bacolod Executive, a local organization of Junior Chamber International, which was commended by the President of the Philippines in 2019 for providing programs in Bacolod and neighboring communities with development opportunities and enhance their capacities to be a productive member of society. He also led various organizations such as Toastmasters International and Rotary Club of Central as a governor and president respectively. Today, he serves as a national vice chair for Visayas for DSWD ABSNet, a network of NGOs assisting DSWD in carrying regulatory function and setting social development standards. Mel is married to lovely Anne, a bank manager, and a father to Joseph Aurelius, an enthusiastic fourth grader. So let's welcome to our virtual stage here at Q Cafe, Mr. Mel Sillador. Hi, Mel!
Hi, Kate.
Hi, how are
Good
you?
evening. How are you? Thank you very
Eh,
much for inviting.
we're so excited because tonight you will be talking to us a lot about how to really, plan out for these teams. Paano nga ba talaga tayo when it comes to organizing such um, planning development when it comes to our teammates, diba? To our office mates, to our entire crew. So, take it away, Mel.
Thank you, Kate. Again, I would like to thank everybody in Moose and Core and QCafe for this opportunity to be able to share my thoughts on how we do team planning, especially coming from an industry that is probably so unexplored in terms of management practice, which is the NGO, the group of non-government organizations and foundations working for different causes. So, Kate, allow me to share my slides. Um, there you go. Can you see my slides?
Yes.
Yes. As I was sharing earlier, planning is so uncommon in this particular industry where I am in. Most players, most non-government organizations and foundations were put up without a plan in mind. How can I say that? Because a lot of founders and presidents of these types of organization started their organization simply by the concept of trying to help out those that are in disadvantaged groups or population. They didn't have a plan to begin with to put up an organization. They simply wanted to help. But at a certain point in the growth of this organization, planning is just necessary and is so important that is practically crucial to the very survival not only of the organization but to the very survival of the very reason or the core why they started doing things that they're actually doing. So allow me to narrow down my topic about planning with these phases. There you go. So this simple overview will show you that planning is just about these things, like identifying where you guys are now, where you and your organizations are going, what is going to get in the way of you being able to achieve your goals and to achieve your vision eventually, and what do you need to do for you to be able to go where you want to go. So that's the outline of my presentation to all of you this evening. So let's start with identifying where we are now or where you guys are now. You would not know where you guys will be going if you don't know where you are right now. So it's very important to identify what you have at this particular moment, who are the people that are with you, how much resources do you have. So in school, especially in college, they would teach us to do what we call external and internal analysis. The most popular one is the SWOT and the PESEL, for external analysis. Then we talk, to our teammates when or we do a focus group discussion when we do our internal analysis. The bottom line of starting the planning phase with identifying where you are now is to basically know what you have at that particular moment. For example, in one of the projects that we did in the in my foundation is to put up a home. My foundation caters for disadvantaged children. These are children that have been abandoned, neglected, those that are considered to be survivors of abuse, both physical, sexual, those that have been victims of child trafficking, even child pornography. It's a challenge um, to be able to come up with a safe home for them, a fun and loving environment. So a few years back, we had a goal to put up a home for them, a home where these children will feel safe, a home that the children can be children again. That can that we can give them the childhood that they were deprived of, in the earlier years of their life. So we started coming up with that idea. So it followed with a plan. No? So we started with what do we have now? Like how much money can we allocate, to build this home? So we asked ourselves, Mel, how much money do you have in the bank that we can allocate? And I said to my board of trustees, and to my management team, basically nothing. So the bigger question there is at that point is, how can you start with nothing? And I guess that was the wrong answer for me to say nothing, though we didn't have money in the bank, but we have people with the commitment and passion willing to build that home, because that type of home doesn't exist in this part of the country where I am now, in Negros. There is no, it's a province, it's an island where there is no government facility for children who have been victimized of abuse. But the cases are so rampant, but we have nowhere to put them. So we really need to have that house. So it's wrong to say that I had nothing. I had a lot of people willing to work. But sadly, in terms of monetary resources, basically we had nothing. So what did we do? So we said that we wanted to buy a home. We identified how much we have. We don't have money, but we have a lot of people with a lot of bright ideas and with a lot of passion that they're willing to put into the project. And we started from there. Now, doing SWOT analysis at that particular time was was also challenging, because the most challenging in doing that part is accepting the limitations and the weaknesses. At a certain point, you would say, "Oh my God, it's impossible to raise like 50 million to build a home to cater for 100 plus children. Like, where do you even begin?" And accepting those realities, you would actually be disheartened. Oh no, that this is an impossible task to do. But we we identified that the things and the people that we know at that particular time who can help us out. And well, after a few years, it turned out that having people with the right heart and with enough passion and commitment actually is good enough for you to be able to achieve, building a project as much as, as much as 50 million. So on my perspective, although there are other resources, especially financial resources, that are important. Sometimes with just a component of human resources, with the right people at that particular time would be enough to for you to be able to achieve your goals. Again, our challenge with that project is really accepting the realities. And as soon as you know where you are now and you know your strengths, you know your weaknesses, you would be able to maximize your strengths at that particular time, and at the end, you would be able to achieve your goal. So it's important to start with assessing what you really have at that particular time. The second phase is for you to know like where are you going. Um, Simple. Just ask yourself this question: if success was a place, how would you know if you got there? How would you know if that particular that you are already like in New York, you are under you are under the Statue of Liberty. If success is a place, how would you know if you got there? That really is your place of success. Meaning it has to be very very specific. For our case, in that particular project, it's really having the kids inside that home with all the staff, with all the facility needed, for the kids to be cared for them to journey, for them to begin their healing journey, and for them to have a new life. So that is success for us in that particular project. So it wasn't really at the end, when we talk about it, it wasn't really just the structure that the home is there. What good will that structure be for the intended beneficiaries if there's no one that's going to take care of them? So we need home parents, we needed social workers, we needed cook, we needed other professionals to be part of that home. So for our case, that project, the structure wasn't just enough. We identified that we need people to take care, of that project. So identify where you are going after knowing where you are now is the next crucial step. Um, it's Sometimes it's taken for granted when passion is so high and excitement is really there. Like, okay, let's do this. Let's do fundraising to build a home. Let's do a concert. Let's do social enterprise. Let's do an art exhibit. All proceeds will go to your cause or to your project. But without knowing what you really want to achieve, as specific as you can have it, you would not know if you have, eventually if you have reached your goals, or if you are at the moment of success already. So it's important at that particular time that like you and your team should be able to answer this question. Like, if success was a place, how would you know if you got there? So that's the second phase for me in terms of team planning. Now, this is for me the longest part of the process. What is going to get in our way? We have to ask that question. Like, what's going to get in our way in building that home for children, worth 50 million, with putting in at least 50 staff to take care of the needs of the children, from education to their case management, and to cater to their basic needs. Um, we have to ask a question. Um, we should not be, as much as possible, caught by surprise in the middle of the process in achieving that particular goal. And if you have identified, this particular things, so what are these components? For me, leadership is important, to have a leadership system in place. Know who's going to make the crucial decisions, and who's going to make the other decisions that are important in the process. Communication where it should come, and how open the communication system is in your team. Resources, what resources do we need, or what resources do you need to start the project, and what resources do you need to move forward. And time, which is very important to be included in the goal, and what technology would be required for you to be able to move forward with what you will do. One thing that we got lost, sadly, in the process, is that when we started this particular project, we started it without COVID in mind. So there will always be some things that will happen that will not be, included in this particular phase. We never expected COVID to happen. Um, we never expected to lose as much as 50% of people that pledge their support to our project. And it was crucial, because it wasn't only the project who was at risk, of not continuing, but our entire organization. We were at the point that we were, you know that we could have lost everything. um and it made me think that, could we have done enough? We have done something to to hasten the impact of COVID for our organization. For one, we could not do anything about COVID. It was it happened. And it eventually it reached to a point that it affected everybody else in the world. So the sooner that you get to accept that we got to accept that COVID is a reality, that we could not really do anything about it. We don't have control about it. The sooner that we were able to cope. So when that happened, we went back to step one. We asked ourselves where we are now. What do we have at this particular time? Is this still worth pursuing, or could this particular project be placed on one side? Then we'll identify things that are more important at that particular time, which we did, because at that time, um, the threat of the pandemic and everything that came with it was so huge that it was, threatening our very survival. So in the first few months of COVID, the focus on that particular project was halted. We need to focus on our very core. We'll have to make sure that our kids would still have food, every day. Our staff will be able to receive their salary at the end of the paying period, or at the end of the work period. It was crucial. And we accepted our limitation at that particular time. And as soon as that we were able to be adjusted to that situation, then we went back, uh, talking about the project. So can we still do this? Is it still possible? Then we ask ourselves where we are now and what we have. Money wasn't there yet. And again, the people that you have with their passion and with enough hope, it was enough to to increase the motivation of everybody in the team to be able to move forward. Um, before me joining the NGO world, I was actually in a corporate environment. And when I started, it was like nightmare for me. When they invited me to be part of the NGO full time, I was so excited because I was at a point of my career that I wanted to have more meaning in what I do, more purpose in life, not just for myself and for my family to earn money, to be able to travel, to be able to send my son to a good school, to be able to eat in a good restaurant. But I was at the point of my life that I wanted more meaning. Then when I started checking. I asked, okay, how much money do we have in the bank? And I realized, oh my God, we don't have money. We don't have enough money to survive for a month. And I could not sleep for days. I really could not sleep for days. And I talked to our founder, um, like how can we survive this? And we don't have enough money to pay our staff. We don't have enough money to buy food for next month. And you know what she said, which really changed me. She said that, Mel, we let's just continue what we do. Let's continue helping our kids, providing the best that we can, provide these children. Let's continue doing the right things, and the right help will come along. And I remember that line because I really hold on to that line until now. I'm with this organization for I think almost 8 years, and it has been true. We continue what we did, continue talking about what we do in the organization, and indeed the right help really came along. And for me, the um, most important factor in an organization or in a group are really the people, the passion and the commitment. Is just so awe-inspiring that even if you're disheartened with that reality check in the process, that it would be enough for you to be able to continue what we do. My point here in this particular part is that we would not be able to identify all the risks at the time that we meet to talk about it. But we just have to be flexible. The process doesn't doesn't follow as perfect as I am presenting it to you. At times, we also have to go back. So, like for our case, we went back to step one when we encountered a situation that is so crucial that we need to sit down again and to identify the things that we have at that particular moment. Um, Now, after identifying the risk, then we start planning with identifying that what we can do to be able to achieve our goals. One crucial thing is always to align everything that we do with the mission and vision of our organization or of your company. Um, when I was young, I always would think that mission and vision are just, for the sake of having a mission and vision, that all companies must have a mission and vision, all organizations must have mission and vision. But in the course of my career, I really realized how important they are, because that's the part that guides everything else. So identifying every action that we do should go back to whether it's still part of the mission and vision of your organization. Building that home, whether the building that home for these children is part of the mission of the organization at the end. So for us, for that particular project, it was it was an easy answer that it is part of the mission and vision. But I'll cite an example that we actually slightly, went away, from the very core mission of the organization. Our organization is catering for children, uh, to provide them with a home life, provide them with education, enough for them to be able to move forward. I mean, to have a good life eventually. But when Yolanda happened back in 2013, um, we were given an opportunity where an organization from abroad said that, we're willing to help the Philippines, but our organization is focused on building houses for those families that were displaced. Our organization is in no way involved in building houses. But when Yolanda happened, several communities in the province were displaced. They lost home. So there's this particular community in northern Negros, around 300 families that lost their houses because of Yolanda, because of Typhoon Haiyan. So then there's this donor willing to give. Then we ask ourselves, are we capable of even doing this? Remember the first phase, knowing where you are now, the people that you have, the resources that you have, the technology, etc. It was so crucial. The objective answer then at that particular time would have been a quick answer of a no. I'm sorry, we cannot do this. This is not aligned with what we do. This is not aligned with what we're capable of. But that answer would have deprived the the, the families that would have benefited in that project. So we cannot afford to give outright an outright no to to the offer or to the opportunity. So we gathered again. Um, we called an emergency board meeting with the management team, and we talked about it. And it's true that it's not really part of the mission and vision of how the organization was formed. Then we ask ourselves further, why did we even start, putting up this foundation? And why did we even start doing what we do? And the bottom line is really to help um, disadvantaged communities. And we ask ourselves, if we will not help these communities in building a new community or building houses for them, giving them livelihood, we ask ourselves how many children of these 300 families will end up, you know, stopping from their schooling, will end up living on the streets, becoming street children, etc. So that's when we realize that still aligned actually with what we wanted or what we intended to do. So we scheduled ourselves with a strategic planning, reviewing our mission and vision, and restating it the the way we understood it better. So again, but in general, um, everything that we do should always be aligned in mission and vision. But we always, for NGOs like us, we always open ourselves with possibilities of of extending, the services that we do wherever it is needed. Cascading our goals to everybody else in the team is important. This is the part where you share what you want to achieve to keep people in your organization. and communicating what you want to achieve is very important. And at the end, this is where the most crucial for me, in this particular step. How do we match the goals of your group or your organization to the very motivation of the people why they continue to work? Crucial for me, because this is where you would understand that compared to people in the corporate environment or profit oriented organization, people join in NGOs not to get rich. People join in NGOs not to be able to buy a condominium in Rockwell or in BGC. People join NGOs basically to help, to to add more meaning in their life. And this is um where that where that moment, like for me it was a moment, happened. Like when you shared, you thought that your staff, oh my god, this is additional work for us. I already planned my December. I already planned my vacation to travel with my family. But this is where you had like everybody in the team so excited to be part of being able to be of help to these 300 families. So this is where I really realized that um, um, the type of people in an NGO is really different from other industries. It was an easy match, you know. It was an easy match for me. So again, this is where you guys meet and talk about the things that you're going to do, who will be involved, who will be heading this particular plan of action. And again, the most crucial is to be able to match the goals that you want to achieve with the individual motivation of every member of the team. So that is planning. That is planning for me. And at the end, then you do your action. Is it possible that at this particular point that you go back to step one? The answer there is yes. Again, this is not a one-way route in achieving your goals. There's always a possibility that you go back to step one, you go back to step two, whenever is necessary. But I guess one thing that we can all agree on, that planning is crucial for everything, may it be corporate, profit oriented, um, not profit oriented, or even a simple vacation. Planning helps you, as a person, as a member of your team, be prepared on what's going to happen next to you. Sadly, my observation always with the teams that I have handled in the past, that they always see it as parang toxic kapag planning, because it drains mental energy. Parang uupo na naman kayo sa long table at tatanungin naman kayo ng bosses nyo ng ganyan, or in some cases the leaders of your organization will just tell you do this and do that without planning. But for me, it's just a mindset. If you change it as a wonderful experience to be able to share your thoughts and ideas, and learn from each other, it's an experience worth doing again and again. So again, I think it's just a mindset of people. So I hope I have shared my thoughts on what planning is about, for me and for our perspective coming from the NGO world. And again, and I hope it would be helpful in whatever you guys are doing right now. So thank you very much for the opportunity. Okay.
Alright, grabe, no? At least meron kayo ngayong idea, guys. I hope you were able to take screenshots of the slides that Mel has shared. Nakakatuwa talaga whenever, actually kasi talaga, planning is a good thing. People are just really, paano ba, intimidated by it, siguro. Kasi they feel like, okay, kapag nagplano, kailangan may solution agad, may ganyan-ganyan. Yung ang haba na agad, nasa dulo na agad kayo nung planning stage na magsisimula pa lang tayo, di ba? We have a few questions here, Mel, that we wanted to ask you, no? So it says here, how do you bring people together to work with your plan? Particularly, siguro sa mga non-profit projects tayo. Paano nga ba?
Well, earlier in the presentation, I mentioned about matching goals and motivation. I think that's the most important one. When we started the organization, it's very important to bring in people. Like for me, I always say it with the right heart. Kasi you cannot convince naman people, oy, sali ka dito sa NGO. Oh, mag-apply ka dito. I have a communication position open because we pay the best in this side of the country. Parang, di ba? Sa corporate, ang dali mag-pirate and we just offer compensation package. Parang ito, you have to share stories, that hoping that it would add meaning to them. Because it's a definite pay cut, especially for me with the friends that I brought in, friends that from Toastmasters, from other organizations that I have dealt with. Lahat yon, actually lahat kami nagka-pay cut, to be able to be part of this project. But at the end of the day, I always see it that siguro the universe has always something so magical about the way it moves things. Because when I made that decision of transitioning from a corporate setup to an NGO, I never I mean, until now parang wala pa rin siyang regrets. The health, the prosperity is still there, and it came along in the most unexpected moment. So going back to the question, how do we bring people in? Just share with them the story, share with them the goals that you want to achieve, and how it would be helpful to a certain group, and it matches also what they do, and they're also at the point that they're looking for more purpose and meaning to what they're doing. And it's an easy match.
And I really think that when people resonate with stories talaga, they make a great team. Kasi if you all are in just, alam mo yun, one accord kayo lahat parang everything is going to flow naturally kasi pare-parehas kayo ng pare-parehas na kayo ng goals in your head. Ganyan. So another question here is, ayun, sabi nga dito ni Miss Anne, the why matters. Diba?
That's true.
So a question here asks, is money always the problem in implementing projects or people's character or uniqueness? Ayan. Doon tayo sa challenge. Money dapat talaga.
Both are important resources in coming up with the project and fulfilling the goals. There are projects that na may pera, yung problema tao. It happens. Like I have this grant that I would like to share with you because I've been talking to a lot of people, like what we do in the organization, and they would always ask, okay, Mel, ano yung kulang? How can we help? And I said to them, one realization that I have is sometimes all the love and care that we give to our kids, parang hindi enough. I would think na, sige, importante may pagkain. 3 times a day, snacks in between. Importante, nakakapag-aral. And for the past years, we're able to provide that. But we still have kids, suffering from depression of what happened to them. So the psychological, the the emotional aspect, parang it's kwan, it's a reality na dapat i-address din.
Yeah.
We have a kid, for example, studying now in a very good school, in a very expensive school. She's studying anthropology. Ang hirap. But we were able to find someone to sponsor him to go to enroll in that school and to take up that expensive course that people might think na, ay, that's not so practical naman, hindi yan makakahanap ng trabaho.
Yeah,
Bakit, why not na lang welding job right away, But this kid is so bright, grabe yung potential at gusto talaga anthropology. So resources came in. We were able to talk to someone who said na, oh my God, when I was young, I wanted to be an anthropologist, pero gusto ni dad that I'll manage a business. So I ended up with a business course. So he said, oh, sige, I'll help him out. I know at least someone, can achieve his dream of, becoming a social scientist. So resources in terms of money, nandun. But when COVID happened and this kid studying so many miles away from us, lahat nagka-depression siya. Lahat pumasok na sa kanya pag-iisip. And he started thinking about like, bakit ako iniwan ng nanay ko at 10 days old? Bakit yung mga kapatid ko kinuha ng nanay ko? 6 kami. Bakit ako na lang naiwan sa orphanage? And that kid attempted to harm himself,
Oh my gosh.
Naghanap siya ng oxalic. Good that one of our home parents found him on time, but we had to rush him to the hospital. So it shows, no, na may kulang. So I was talking to a group about it, and they said, okay, I'm willing to help out. Or hire a psychologist full time. Kasi you had so many cases. And we started looking for psychologists. And wala. In this part of the country, wala. No one here is trained.
Mahirap
to
pag province
handle.
talaga, no?
To handle these cases. I had to call friends in Manila to refer me to this and that. But, ang hirap. So, both talaga, for something to happen, kailangan ng monetary resources at saka the right human resources to be in place. No? So, both for me are important, especially sa NGO perspective.
Yeah. Ang bigat. Actually, that's one of really the reasons why, when we do things talaga, you really have to look at every aspect, possible scenario, involving whatever it is that we're doing. And ang hirap gumalaw ng walang pera. And together with it, ang hirap gumalaw ng walang tao. Diba?
Yes. Pero Kate, I have to say this kasi isang difference then that I noticed compared to corporate planning.
Yeah.
We don't incorporate and in other setup, you don't start things without doing planning, without everything that you need before actually implementing.
Yeah.
In NGO hindi. You know why? Especially sa amin. Yun nga eh. Oh, Mel, anong kailangan mo? Kailangan mo ng 5 social workers, isang nurse at saka isang psychologist, then isang doctor for you to be able to do that project. And Mel, you only have like one like a nurse, you only have 3 social workers, wala ka pang psychologist. Yung doctor cannot also render full-time services.
Oo.
Then you ask yourself, oh sige, like kapag corporate, sige, let's make sure yung team kompleto muna before doing this. But time is crucial
Yeah.
sa amin, no? If we will not respond at that particular moment, we will lose the opportunity
To
to
help.
help,
Yeah.
right? One policy that we do here in my foundation, unlike others, uh, we don't say no to referral. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like right now, I have 115 kids.
Okay.
115 kids. Kailangan niya ng at least 5 social workers. I only have 3 at the moment.
Mm-mm.
So the logical answer there, if may bagong bata na ma-refer sa amin, no, sorry, because wala akong social worker na magka-handle. But
Mm-mm.
when someone calls up and say, Mel, there's this kid nasa Lacson Street in Bacolod, abandoned by the nanay, allegedly rugby addicts, ganyan.
Yeah.
Nakita lang ng isang concerned citizen,
Yeah.
you cannot afford to say no. Hindi pwedeng mag-no. Because that time na may tumawag sa'yo might be the
Yeah.
only opportunity that you can help that kid. And I know also for a fact na walang other option yon.
Yeah.
Walang other mapuntahan. So that's where flexibility comes in. And the very core, the why that you shared, evaluate natin bakit ba tayo nandito. Are we here na dapat hindi tayo mag-accept kapag walang enough na ganyan. You know, we're here to help. So binabalikan ko yung sinabi talaga ng founder namin at saka president. Just do the right thing. What's the right thing at that moment? To help the
Yeah.
kid.
And
And the
I
right
really
help
believe,
just come
no,
along.
provision will come. Provision
Yes,
will
that's
come.
true. That's true. You know?
Talaga yan eh. Kasi in the line of work that you do, grabe na titiri
Oo.
tayo. Kasi naisip ko lang yung mga bata, di ba? Parang, oh my gosh, the profession that you have talaga. If wala kang, wala kang willpower, if wala kang iba, ang hirap
Right.
sa part ninyo. Kasi life and death talaga yan kung totoo sila.
Right.
Kasi you guys have the
Mm.
power to save the lives of these kids. Kasi andyan na kayo eh. It's what you've been doing for X number of years. And
Right.
hirap talaga mag-no sa ganun. Kasi what if mag-no ka, tapos something bad would happen to that kid there and then, di ba? So, yes, totoo, flexibility really matters in this situation.
Yes. You know, Kate, I still have a lot of friends who would ask me, Mel, why are you there? Bakit mo pa yan? Bakit nandiyan ka pa? A lot of them are working abroad, VPs of their companies. Parang, what are you doing? Parang ganun. And I always tell them, of course, there was a point na parang I asked myself, bakit nandito pa ako when there are other opportunities, no? Then I always tell them, yung sagot ko ngayon, because I think I have found my place under the sun. Hard to believe, but for me, it was at the time that I started what I'm doing now, when everything made sense. Because Kate, hindi ko na nasama with my introduction that I sent you, my background. I am a nurse by profession. My first course was really nursing. So many years ago. Because it was at the time that everybody, was taking up nursing.
Yes.
Then, after nursing, I wanted to specialize on a specific aspect, which was psych nursing. So I took up my master's in psych in nursing. Then I was in the academe. I was teaching in LaSalle. So I took up my PhD in education. Then I was at that time of my life that I told myself, parang, wait, I think I'm too young to retire in the academe. Kasi if I will not leave the school environment, parang I will retire here, and I wanted to try other things. Sabi ko, I wanted to try corporate. So I left the academe. I went back to school. I went back to UP. I took up business management, master's in business management, and I work in a corporate environment. So I tried HR. Then I said, parang, it's too redundant for me. Parang same day every day
Yeah,
na
day.
task. Then I explore into marketing, and it was working it was working. Now, in fact, I still do consultancy work with that particular company.
Yeah.
Then I encountered this organization when I was doing a company launching na hindi natuloy. Kasi, basta of course, for some reason, hindi natuloy. But everything was paid for. I invited Jed Madela to sing for that corporate launching. And hindi matutuloy, sabi ng bossing ko, sige, Mel, wala tayong magawa, everything is paid for. Let's just have dinner here in Bacolod. Let's invite our friends and let's let Jed sing there. Parang ganon. And I remember telling her, sige nga, why don't we look na lang for an NGO? Let's tell them that we have Jed. Maybe they can organize something. And that's how I knew of Kalipay. But Kay, I think 2 years after being part of Kalipay, that's when I realized, wait, Mel. What you're doing now is you actually get to do, what you have been doing in the past. Because
Yeah.
my career never really made sense. Parang walang connection yung nursing, your psych, your
Yeah.
education, at saka business. But right now, I'm running an NGO. That's the business side of it. We
Yeah.
have our own school, Kate.
Oh
A lot of our kids are under protective custody. They can't just easily go to a regular school.
yeah.
Mga perpetrators are still at large. We need to protect them. So we run our own school. That's where my background in education is coming in. A lot of our kids have problems psychologically, emotionally, of course, because of what happened to them in the past. That's where my psych would come in. And you won't believe, the kids, the level of malnutrition that we have in this country. We have like a 4-year-old kid cannot walk. It's not because they were not taught how to walk. It's because they don't have enough muscle mass to be able to support their entire body to stand. So that's where my nursing, background came in. So this is where everything really made sense for me.
Yeah, grabe, totoo talaga yan, no? Na parang everything is falling into place. So, if it's okay na, di ba? Why
Yeah.
will you worry pa, di ba? Ayan, so for our last question for today, no? How do you prepare yourself with unforeseen circumstances with your plans? For example, sudden resignation of someone na nasa post, unmet na mga output, o kaya let's say sudden withdrawal of budget. Paano ba tayo nag-a-adjust sa mga ganitong unforeseen cases?
Yeah. Yung number one question that is always asked of me about, running a foundation is, and they know how difficult it is to raise money as much as $1 million to $1.5 million a month,
Yeah.
to be able to continue what we're doing. Is hanggang kailan nyo kayan? And until when will you be able to cope, with the budgetary demands of your operation? Used to be, may answer doon would be the MBA graduate answer that we need to prepare endowment fund, etc., backup plan, investment committee, chuchu. That used to be my answer. But ngayon, Kate, I think siguro because aging process na din, so more time for reflection. I have a better answer there. Yung sagot ko doon, until God wants us to continue, then we will be here.
Amen.
If he wants us to close down next week, no matter how much planning and preparation that I do, we will close down next week. If he wants us to continue doing what we do, and if he feels that we're doing his will here on earth, then maybe we will continue what we're doing for the next 20 years or 100 years or so. So it boils down to that. If the core of what you're doing is still aligned with what God's will is, then you will be there no matter how much pandemic. Just imagine, pandemic, lahat, like almost half withdrew, and we understand. Because lahat ng mga corporate sponsors na gano'n, they were also having problems. Walang kliyente, walang walang ganyan. But like looking back now, oh my God, paano kami nakasurvive?
For
And
three
if I'm
years.
for 3 years, if I'm evaluating, na parang may yun nga yung si God or yung universe, may something special that is always
Yeah.
aligned. I'll give you one perfect example. Before the pandemic, it was March 2020. March 2020 when the lockdown happened. That was the last month for with my memorandum of agreement with one grant giving agency. So parang
Yeah.
end na yon. And that grant was specific for education. So I don't have money na for educational services. Wala na. You know, Kate, believe it or not, a week before lockdown, we receive a random call na magbi-visit sa amin to check, not even saying, "No, we will help you," but just saying na, "Can we see what you and your organization are doing in
Yeah.
Negros?" So they came a week before the pandemic, where everybody at that time were so weary about traveling kasi takot na ma-stranded anytime
Yes.
magka-quarantine na. But these two people came. And when they came, they saw what we do, and they saw the school, and they asked, what do you need now? And we right away said that we need money to pay for our teachers. We need money to print our modules. We need money to continue the the educational aspect of our program.
Yeah.
And right there and then, Kate, these two said, okay, we'll handle it. So parang, oh my gosh, uh, parang I don't know, parang my boss, I was like driving when these two people were saying it. We had to stop on the side ng highway to absorb everything. Para wait, say that again. Because we were willing to stop. Yung sinasabi namin na, sige nga, let's stop maybe since pandemic naman, okay na lang muna na everybody stop schooling, just to be able to get by, because lahat ng budget muna
Oo.
pagkain, lahat
Kasi
muna
mas
na budget,
importante yung
mas mas mas
survival.
importante yon. But again, if you're doing the right thing and you get to meet the people that matches, your what you
Yeah.
want to achieve, magic happens. Kate.
Grabe, Mel, pinaiyak mo. Iyakin ko talaga. Alam mo, stories like this talaga, they hit you right in the center of your heart talaga. Grabe, no, iba talaga yung iba din yung faith natin, no? When it comes to, oh my gosh, may darating. Even when we
Yeah.
feel na wala na talaga, meron talaga. 'Di ba? And yun talaga
That's
yung
right.
importante. And grabe, no, yung talk, the entire talk that we had today, from your stories from the NGO, it will really make us, think na, oh my gosh, we're so blessed. We're so blessed in every day na we really need to know how to structure everything for it to continue. Kasi hindi naman pwede din naman na, okay, bahala na bukas. Hindi naman pwedeng laging ganon, diba?
Yeah.
You do have to plan, pero it doesn't mean na dapat whenever you plan, as is yun nasusunod. Kasi hindi
That's
nangyayari
true.
more often than not,
Yeah.
diba? More often than not, yung mga plans natin, partial lang yung nagkakatotoo. Pero at least, diba, we were able to pave the way for the plans to happen. So yeah, grabe nakakatuwa.
Yeah.
Grabe natuwa ako for our
Kate, yung second part of your question, naalala ko lang bigla, no, like what you do with this mass resignation and
Yes.
all. Because those happens, yung hindi match, yun nga, yung
Oo.
goals and motivation. So we also had times na like our social workers would leave, no? Because the offer in the government is something that we cannot compete with, right?
Yeah.
So like there's mass resignation. I could not stop them naman sabihin, no. Can you just sacrifice more months until makakita kami ng replacement?
Oo.
Same with the teachers, because the kind of kids that we have are not the most are not the most teachable kids that you can have. These are the street kids. These are the kids that no matter grabe na yung checking namin, may dalang sharpened object sa kanyang likod. Because they have that all the time to to protect themselves. But hindi lahat ng teachers are ready for that. So there were times na a lot of my teachers left because uh, they they cannot handle. They don't feel safe. They don't feel secure. At the
Oh,
end of the day, the job that we're doing is really not for everybody. But yung maganda doon, when those things happen, um, yun, another person comes in, another individual will rise to the occasion to fill in that gap, but we continue, we
yes.
continue still, right?
That's true. And it's really an amazing thing talaga. Nakakatuwa. Grabe. I really commend what you do there. Grabe, grabe. Oh my gosh. Hands down talaga. You guys, I really hope that you get to continue this for the 100 more years. Grabe. As long as you guys are needed. Yun talaga yung totoo doon. Kasi everything else will follow. If your heart is in the right place, everything else will follow. So I hope you guys who are watching us tonight, like be it on replay, sana marami rin kayong natututunan and sana na-touch yung mga hearts nyo. If you wanna reach out to Mel and his foundation, feel free to do so. Just contact them or you can directly message us here at Muzencore and then we will link you to Mel. Maraming salamat po sa inyong oras. Maraming salamat po sa panonood. And yeah, Mel, thank you so much for gracing
Thank
us
you.
tonight. And once again, my name is Kate. Thank you so much everybody for joining us this evening. And I hope to see you on our next episode here at QCafe. Maraming salamat po sa isa na namang fruitful na kwentuhan. And and medyo slight na iyakan sa part ko. Napakaiyakan talaga ni Kate. So maraming salamat po. And we really hope na these stories that you hear from us would spark something in you, would make you continue, would make you think of the things that you need to be thinking of right now. And I really hope that all is well with you, wherever you are here in this world. Kung nasang panig man kayo ng mundo, magkita-kita po ulit tayo next week. Maraming salamat po for always staying tuned here at Muzen Course Q Cafe. Goodbye, everyone! Bye!
Thank you.